Hey, what is up guys? Throttle Gaming here, back with another video. And in today's video, I'm giving you my best tips on how to get the Blackout characters in Call of Duty's Blackout mode. But before we dive into this, I just want to say if you guys like what you see, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out a lot, and a like as well if you're enjoying the content. Also, I want to hear in the comments what characters you guys might be grinding towards and any questions you may have. I'll put timestamps in the description for each character if you just want to skip to a certain one and don't want to, see the whole video. Lastly, this video might be a little lengthy, so brace yourselves. I'm going to try to make it as interesting as possible. Alright, well let's begin. First off, I'm going to be addressing two different things in this video. One is going to be how to improve your gameplay for getting characters, and the other being the actual tips for getting certain characters. So let's start off first with the first different topic, and that will be looking strategically like how to improve your gameplay for getting characters. A lot of the times I find myself with the mindset of, oh, I'm just gonna play, hope I can get a win and a character at the same time, maybe bust out a lot of kills, so I can just flaunt that to my friends, which I find, for me personally, it wasn't working, so, I want to say that's not the best way. Some people may be fortunate or lucky or skilled enough to be able to actually pull that off, where they can just win games left and right and get characters at the same time. But, for most of us, like myself included, I just don't have that kind of luck. So, this is my advice on what to do. First off, you want to pick a certain character out of the bunch that you want to get first. If there's one that you might think is easy, or if there's one that you're like, oh, I want that character the most, you're gonna have to do some research on them, being their challenges and the location of their item, right? So if, for example, we're talking about Reznov or Woods, like Reznov, he has 3 different locations, right? So you gotta know each of those locations. He has 3 different challenges. I mean, I guess technically 2, but 3 being, you have to finish with the item in your inventory. I mean, you don't want to be the guy that picks up the item, gets the 2 challenges, like, okay, cool, I can drop this item now for another perk slot or something, and then doesn't finish the game with it. It's like, you want to make sure you know what you're doing. Want to make sure you have a plan for how to get the item either the quickest or be the most prepared to fight other enemies that may be trying to get it as well. So, having a plan before you actually even queue up for a game is really important. Whereas, see, when in the gameplay for Woods, I've tried doing this dozens of times, and it just wasn't working, I was trying to just jump, get the bandana, jump in the helicopter. But you see, there's like 3 dudes that try that, and they all die. So, if you get a weapon, kill the guys that are just weaponless with no armor trying to do that same thing, then you have a better chance at not only placing up in a higher tier, getting some more kills, which will discount, or not discount, but lessen the amount of people in the game, which can, basically makes it a higher chance so you can actually complete those challenges. So being able to do that, and lastly, the RNG of finding their items can be difficult. There was about 5 games in a row where I would be trying to get Reznov's hat or Wood's bandana, and neither of them would be spawning. There's no helicopter there, or it's just not at the fountain for Reznov, and it's like, okay, that's annoying. However, we don't have to finish those games, right? I think a lot of times we might find ourselves, oh, it's okay, but, let's just play this game out. Well, it's like, that could take 15 minutes, and what if in that 15 minutes you do one of the challenges, right? Like, that's going to be pretty annoying if you get the 200-meter kill, or, complete the game, but you didn't have the character item. So, it's okay to quit the game, try again, see if it's there. If not, just keep trying until you get the item. And then, so just being able to know, like, have the discipline to be able to just focus on those goals and achieving that. Alright, now the last thing I'm going to add is the game I choose to play when getting characters is solos, and that's just because I find myself having an easier time, especially when trying to improve my one-on-one fights. Solos is the game to go into to practice that, just because when fighting an enemy one-on-one in solos, you don't have to worry too much about their squad mate or their other potential 3 players if you were playing squads coming up and, you know, ganging up on you. So solos is really nice for that, just because, you know, if you kill an enemy, that person is now down and they are out of the game, which is nice, especially when getting challenges too, because some of these, for example, you know, you have to get a long range kill, or you have to take or kill them without taking damage from them, or something like that, which involves killing an enemy, which can be challenging when they go down instead of actually just being removed from the game. So just be mindful of that, you know. You don't have to be the best, you know, you'll improve your gun skill over time. The more fights you get into, the better you'll get. So if you have to practice that first, go ahead, you know. If you just have to jump in, grab a gun and start fighting people, and just practice that way, then you go ahead. There's no problem with that. But then once you're ready and you feel like you're at a good point where you're like, okay, I'm really good with this gun, and my second gun should be this in case I have to switch or reload. And just once you're comfortable with that and you're confident in your abilities, then go ahead and jump into solos and try and get that character. Now, the first character we're going to talk about is Reznov, whose main challenge is getting a long-range kill, which a lot of people are saying it's about 200 meters. In my opinion, it's, you know, if it looks far, it's probably going to tick the challenge marker, so just eyeball it, really. The gun I used to get this was the Paladin sniper scope, fully spec'd out, you know, the more attachments the better. Personally, it's just, you know, the Paladin has little to no drop. No matter how far you are, it is just like from point A to point B in a millisecond, and you don't have to compensate too much. Now, for the other guns I'm not too good with, such as the Outlaw or the SDM, I can't really snipe with those guns, but if you prefer that over the Paladin and you're better with that, then by all means go ahead and use that gun. But yeah, my personal experience, I found that the Paladin is the best for this. And the nice part is, if you are playing solos, a one shot to the head, they're going down, you get that challenge. You don't have to shoot them again or shoot them 2 times even if they have armor on. So that is nice. You can usually find the Paladin in like supply crates or something, and you can find Reznov's item if you've done your research. You know the 3 different spawn locations, so just keep trying to get that. One thing to keep in mind is, if you are going for this, you know, you don't need to get this kill right away, right off the bat. Like, okay, I got a Paladin, let's go. Oh, okay, I got a sniper scope and my sniper rifle of choice. Let's go find a guy really quick and try to shoot him. Or if you are already spec'd out and you got good high ground and you're ready, you know, and you see a guy, like, you don't have to take the shot right away, especially if they're moving. It's going to be much harder to hit them. Wait for them to become stationary. If they don't know where you are, all the better. You know, equip perks such as Iron Lungs, Paranoia, so that way if you are taking your time, you'll know if someone's starting to aim at you. But yeah, just wait for them. If you see they start to engage another player, you know, just wait for one of those guys to stand still. You know, you don't always have to be the one that engages right away. The safer you play and the smarter you play, the better chances you are of getting that. Next, I think it is you have to just reach in the top 5, especially in solos, which sounds pretty challenging, but you know, if it's duos, it's top 2, and if it's squads, it's like top 4 or something, or it might be the other way around. But you know, just playing safe and, you know, getting to a good spot where you can lay down and on the high ground is what I recommend for getting Reznov. Next, we're going to be talking about Mason, where in the gameplay you'll see that his spawn location for the shirt is completely RNG. Like, I got very lucky that there was a crate here, and at first I didn't want to get his item because I was going for woods. I was set on woods, and that's one of the things that, you know, can throw people off, is if you are trying to get multiple characters, you know, you might get like 1 or 2 of the achievements for both of them and never actually finish them. So just be careful of that. I got very lucky this game. But let's talk about Mason's challenge.
Yes,
so first, as you
dude.
see, you have to go to Array, and you'll find one little switch with a green light on it that you can, you press that button, it'll activate, and you'll have numbers on your screen. It'll probably be for the rest of the game, but you know, for me it didn't bother me too much, but that's really the only hard part. Next, you just have to place top 15. So again, you'll see I don't engage many players. I just well, be careful, be cautious, get to somewhere that, a lot of people don't usually go to. So in this case, the building's up by a hydro dam. So, just being smart about it, and you're like, okay, if I don't have to go fight someone, don't. And then once you get that, you get those two things checked, and you're in the clear, and you should get Mason. Next up is Menendez, who, personally, I only found his locket in the supply drops that fell from the airplane, which can be pretty risky, just because, when that happens, a lot of people do tend to go for those, or one person will try and watch it just so they can pick people off. So if you're going for that, I recommend getting smoke grenades or stun grenades as well in case someone tries to rush you. But what his challenge is getting 2 shotgun kills within one game. So I recommend, there is the pump action, which most people don't know, but it's actually a 2-shot on level 2 armor and down. Even if they have the full 200 health from a trauma kit and level 2 armor, they will go down in 2 shots if you hit every one of those BBs from the shell. So just be mindful of that. Personally, I'm not too good with accuracy, so I went with the semi-auto shotgun, fully spec'd it out, and just aim from the hip. You can fire all 6 rounds at the guy, and he's going down. There's not much you can do when you round a corner and see a guy with a shotgun. So that's really how you want to play this. You want to see if you can grab a locket, get indoors, and just crouch, have some perks on if you need, and just wait for someone to come to you, because it's hard to engage people with a shotgun, especially if they're later in the game and it's top 50, top 25. It's going to be challenging to actually surprise an enemy. So just be mindful of that. And I know it's kind of hard to find a shotgun later in the game, so what I was doing when getting Menendez was picking up a shotgun early on, because you can get attachments as you go. So just having that semi-auto shotgun and a secondary, either like an SMG or something that's good to mid to medium range, just to help with any of those engagements I might encounter. So once you get those kills, the best part is you don't have to place at any certain point. You just need 2 kills. So if you get lucky and you're in the top 70 players, get 2 kills, and you died, well, lucky for you, you get Menendez. Alright, so that's going to be it for him. Finally, we have, in my opinion, the second hardest character in the Blackout mode to get, which is Woods. Now, what this gameplay you're watching is the actual game where I got Woods. So lucky enough, I did get him after multiple attempts. But the reason I find this one so challenging is there's only one spawn location, and tons of people go there, right? Like, you could have 6 people going there, and that's just in solo. Say if you have squads, there could be 2 different squads there, that's 8 people. I mean, yeah, you have your extra 3, but that's a lot of people to have to deal with. So just be careful of that. Go for a weapon, try to pick people off before they can fly away in the helicopter. It's easier than it sounds to do that part. Next, one of the challenges is flying in a helicopter for a total of 30 seconds. So, that's like, say you were in a helicopter for 25 seconds, it gets shot down. If you find another helicopter and you are in it for 5 seconds, then you'll get that challenge completed. So don't worry, like, oh great, my helicopter's dead, now I have to find another one and be in that for 30 seconds. Luckily they didn't make it that hard, otherwise I think this challenge would have just been even more excruciating than it already is. The next thing you want to do is go to somewhere secluded and, stock up. Get your best guns, I prefer 1 close range and 1 medium to long range, maybe. So if you have to get a Spitfire for the close range, and say maybe an ICR or a Rampart for that medium to long range, and go ahead and do that. Whatever your best guns are for those different types of engagements, just make sure you grab those. Get some body armor. If you can get a trauma kit and put 200 health on yourself, that 50 HP might be just what wins you the game. So, just be careful of that.
Alright.
Second, you're going to want to just play back. If you're in the middle of the circle, there's no real need to move. So, just camp out there. Make sure you have enough ammo for late game fights, or some perks if you can. And just be careful. Again, you don't have to play like crazy. You don't have to play super aggressive because you just have to win the game. It doesn't say you have to get 20 kills or 10 kills. Like, you just have to win. So the safer you play, the higher chance you have of getting this. So say you have stayed alive and you make it to the top 5. And I get that the circle can get very small. And what I recommend doing, is if you have awareness and you can throw that on so you can hear enemy footsteps, then I would just stick in one spot, lay down, and wait for them to come to you, because then you can just unload all your bullets into them, make sure they're dead. Boom. Or, if you don't have a lot of perks, I recommend just moving along one pathing, crouch walking the whole way, and trying to stick into cover too, because you don't want to be exposed and get picked off by someone that may have a sniper rifle. So just be mindful of that too. Alright, so let's say you're down to the last 2 people. I know sometimes this can be the most difficult because people will have a lot of equipment or a lot of perks, and you may not, right? You might just have like 200 health and a couple of med packs. So, just play safe again. Let the other 2 people fight it out. If you can stick to the edge, go ahead. And then, if you hear them start to engage each other, then run up on them. If you catch one off guard, or if you can catch both off guard, then the easier it will be for you to win the game, because they'll both already be lower health, and so that way it's just easier for you to not have to worry about fighting someone that's fully prepped and ready and full health. But that's it for these characters, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I hope some of these tips were helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I'm going to be doing another video for tips on how to get the multiplayer characters in Blackout, so make sure you subscribe and are aware of when that video might come out. And until then, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face, tell me that you love me.